Luberda, Luberda.
Okay, Mr. Lezay, the witness is yours.
Good afternoon, Ms. Liberta.
Good afternoon.
Are you currently employed in law enforcement at the present time?
I am not.
And had you previously been a law enforcement officer?
I was, yes.
The decision to no longer be in law enforcement, is that a voluntary decision on your part?
It was.
Okay. And talk to me about your previous law enforcement experience.
Sure. I started as a dispatcher, actually, in 2007. In 2011, I was sworn in as a police officer at the Green Bay Police Department, where I served for 12 years.
And what roles did you have with the Green Bay Police Department?
I started as a patrol officer. I was there for 7 years, and then I moved to the detective division for almost 5 years, just shy, and then I left as a lieutenant on the afternoon shift patrol.
Were you working as a investigator with the Green Bay Police Department in February of 2022?
Yes.
And as a detective with the Green Bay Police Department in February 23rd of 2022, did you assist in a homicide investigation involving the decedent Shad Thyrion?
Yes.
What was your initial role in that investigation?
My initial role was to go to the place where the suspect in this case was apprehended, and there was a van involved, and basically take ownership of the van and everything that happened with the van.
And the location, was that on Eastman Avenue?
Yes,
And when you arrived, did you ultimately go to that scene on Eastman Avenue?
I did.
And when you arrived, what did you observe?
I observed several other officers there. I observed the van in question, and that was pretty much it. It was pretty much calm by the time I got there. It was just the van and other patrol officers.
And what did you do to conduct further analysis or investigation relative to that van?
I've received information that the van was involved prior to me getting there, so I knew that there may be potential evidence in the van and that we needed to secure that evidence. So I returned to the police department to write a search warrant.
Did you ultimately obtain a search warrant for the van?
I did, yes.
Do you know who the registered owner of the van was?
Yes.
Who was that?
Scott Tome.
T-H-O-M-S?
Correct.
And once you got the warrant for the van, what did you do?
Once I got the warrant for the van, I returned to the Eastman address and I called the city contracted wrecker or towing company, and then we towed the van to our evidence storage unit on Broadway Street in the city of Green Bay.
Did either you or another member of the Green Bay Police Department follow the towing company as it brought the van to the storage facility?
Yes, myself and Detective Bray.
When you arrived at the Green Bay storage facility, what did you do?
We put the van into the secured area of the storage or the evidence unit, and we left.
And what did you return at some point in time to that van?
Yes, around 3:30 in the afternoon.
Why was there the delay between dropping the van off and then returning later?
Yeah, we knew that there were potential body parts in the van, and the forensic pathologist was currently at the home, and we wanted to wait for him to go into the van.
So then when you returned about 3:30 in the afternoon, did you have contact with the forensic pathologist?
Yes.
And what happened at that point?
At that point, our forensic unit started taking pictures and swabs of the outside of the van, and then we opened up the hatch or the back of the van, and the forensic pathologist took some items out of the van. We didn't discover anything in the back, but then we went to a box behind the driver's seat where he located body parts.
And who was taking the lead in terms of actually removing items from the van and then having contact with the human remains?
The forensic pathologist, Vincent Tranquita.
What was your role on that scene at that time?
I was observing.
And the forensic unit was present and photographing?
The forensic unit was processing the van, yes.
Once the forensic unit and the forensic pathologist had an opportunity to complete their search of the van, what did you do?
I talked with the doctor, and he told me that he believed that all
I object, that's hearsay.
I wasn't asking specifically for what anyone told you. What did you do with the van afterwards?
So
The
the question's withdrawn. Go ahead and ask your next question, Mr. Lozay.
The forensic unit finished processing the van and we left.
In addition to processing the van on the scene, did you subsequently have a further role with respect to this investigation?
I did.
And what was that?
I looked through one of the cell phones that was located at the Eastman Avenue address. I believe that belonged to Taylor Schabusiness.
Now, when you say you looked through the cell phone, did you look through the device itself?
I did not.
What did you review?
Our computer forensics person who was in here just before me downloaded the phone to what's called the UDRF file, and then we're able to view the contents of the phone that way.
And is using that type of, what they call it, a UFED report, is that something that you review regularly in the course of your duties as a detective with the Green Bay Police Department?
Almost every day.
So you're familiar with reviewing those reports and then locating the information that might be of interest in an investigation?
Yes.
And is that what you were asked to do with respect to a phone that was believed to belong to Taylor Schabusiness?
Yes.
What sorts of things were you looking for when you reviewed the extraction of that device using the computer forensic program?
I was looking for search history on the internet. I was looking for photographs. I was looking for phone calls, text messages, messaging application chats, things of that nature.
Did you notice anything of evidentiary value?
There was some search history that I found interesting, like internet searches that I found interesting, yes.
And what was that?
There was searches, things of like...
Your Honor, I'm going to object. Relevancy. I mean, searches on the phone. People search, research, look at all kinds of different things. I would argue that some of these things, I believe, could be inflammatory and more prejudicial than probative.
I'll overrule the objection. You can go ahead and answer the question, ma'am.
things such as flaming pentagram, Jeffrey Dahmer, things like that. KKK, I believe, is one of them.
And Detective, did you note the dates and times of the respective searches that you believed were relevant?
It was around the time of the homicide.
In the days shortly before?
In the days shortly before, yes.
And do you recall when you reviewed that, did you prepare a report regarding your observations?
I did.
If you were able to review your report, might that refresh your recollection as to the specific searches and the dates and times of those searches?
It would.
I'm showing you what's been marked as Exhibit 98. Can you review that document?
Your Honor, I'm going to object to Exhibit 98. I know it's Detective Liberta's details. It's 2 pages. But there are dates going back to December 12th of 2022, and we're talking about an alleged incident on 2/22 or 2/23 of 2022. So I've got an issue with that. I'm also going to reserve a motion outside the presence of the jury.
Okay, well, I think all she's been asked is to review the report, so I don't know yet what she's going to be testifying to. So I'll reserve ruling on your objection, Mr. Freilich, but I'll turn back state. Go ahead, Mr. Lizay.
Your Honor, I forgot, I want to say that another objection would be on grounds of relevancy. So,
Okay.
thank you.
I'm going to reserve those objections.
Thank you so much.
Go ahead.
And Ms. Luberta, does reviewing that report refresh your recollection as to the nature of some of the searches that you observed on the extraction from Ms. Schabusiness's phone?
Yes.
And specifically as it relates to February 12th of 2022 and February 13th of 2022, did you note anything, was there anything noteworthy with respect to searches?
Objection relevancy to that question?
Overruled. Go ahead and answer if you can.
Yes, she searched Jeffrey Dahmer. And then she searched cadaver definition, Jeff Boyardee, blow-up doll customized face.
In particular, Jeffrey Dahmer, did you note that there were several searches that were related to Dahmer?
Objection relevancy.
Overruled. Go ahead and answer.
Can you repeat your question?
Were there several searches related to Jeffrey Dahmer and other items on the device that were consistent with Jeffrey Dahmer?
Yes.
What other portions of the extraction also showed an interest in Jeffrey Dahmer?
Objection relevancy.
Overruled.
There was I wrote another search warrant for her Gmail accounts, the Google accounts, a bigger search that you can do to get more information stored on the cloud. And in that extraction or that information, there were more references to Jeffrey Dahmer and searches for Jeffrey Dahmer, pictures, and things of that nature.
On the device itself, did you also locate photographs of Jeffrey Dahmer?
Objection relevancy.
Overruled.
Yes.
Do you know what a device screenshot is?
Yeah. Yes.
What does that term generally mean?
A screenshot is where you take a shot of the screen, basically a copy of the screen.
Okay. And do you know if there were screenshots that were prepared in this case by analyst Danelski for purpose of your analysis?
Yes,
And did you review those screenshots as well?
I did.
And in reviewing those screenshots, were there also several mentions of Dahmer and Dahmer-related interest?
Yes.
Objection relevance.
Overruled.
Yes, there were.
Was this just, a one-off, one or two photos, or were there several photographs?
Same objection relevancy.
Overruled.
There were several.
Now, you mentioned that you subsequently did a search for information, a search warrant for information from Google. Can you talk about the process you utilized to do that?
Yes, so from the device itself, we could find out how many Gmail accounts that she had, and there was a total of 5. So from those 5 Gmail accounts, we can write a warrant to Google for more information that's not technically stored on the phone, but in the cloud.
And did you draft such a warrant?
Yes, I did.
And ultimately, did you obtain a warrant from the court for that search?
Yes, I did.
Did Google subsequently respond to your warrant and provide information from those Gmail accounts?
Yes.
And what happened then when you received the information from Google?
I was able so Google provides it in a way that's hard to figure out. So Analyst Danelski is able to put it into the same computer program to allow us to look at that information.
And once you then reviewed the information in the program, do you know the name of the program?
It's the same one that you did.
Okay, the Celebrate, the UFED reader?
Celebrate, yes.
Okay. When you reviewed the information in Celebrate, were you able to find similar information regarding an interest in Jeffrey Dahmer on the Google search?
Objection relevancy.
Overruled.
Yes.
Do you know, does Celebrate give you the opportunity to parse out certain relevant things and generate a report that only includes certain items that are of interest to the person creating the report?
Yes.
Are you familiar with those reports from Celebrate that allow you to do that?
Yes, I am.